This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
I am so thrilled, and I said this on social networking. I came out of the screening with a smile plastered on my face, and also stuck onto my heart. Karwaan in theaters today. Go and watch. How are you, brother Akarsh Khurana?
I am very nervous
Why?
because it's in theaters today.
Hello, Mithila. How are you?
Hi, Hrishi K. I'm very well. Thank
And Dulquer, there have been people who have been waiting. People, meaning of the female kind, from the morning for you to show up. It was a well-kept secret, but now it's not a secret anymore. So thank you for a great experience. And I have to start with you. Do you get to pull rank on Dad on set? The directing Dad, does he take direction easily? Though you bumped him off in the story, might I add.
Right. Actually, to be very honest, the first time I worked with Dad, I was directing him and Shahnaz Patel in a play called Blackbird. And on the first day of rehearsal, I was shitting bricks because I had to go into one room and direct Shahnaz and Dad, two people who have learned stuff from. So, But the thing is, what I saw the moment that I entered is that they had come in actor mode, waiting to receive. Like, they were just thorough professionals. I've always had that it's not the first time I directed Dad for the camera as well. It was in a television film I did, and he's really easy to work with. I don't think he's had as much fun directing me when he's done that. I can be a bit of a pain, but he's wonderful. And in fact, we brought it up yesterday that I scheduled the film in such a way that the first scene that I shot was with Dad.
Ah, nice.
And that the second scene I shot was Dulquer with Dad. So it kind of eased me into the process because I had the security blanket of Dad on set. So, yeah.
And you grew up in Chennai.
Yeah.
The Chandoks seem to be friends of yours.
Friends of yours, is it?
Uncle Vicky is a buddy of my dad's.
Oh, wow.
He's a race car driver, and everybody knows, Karun's connection. So I'm thinking, I'm watching you in Karma going, how much of driving is he going to do? Turns out not very much.
Actually, I did quite a lot of driving for Karun. And Karun and me have been in the same grade and have been best of friends since I was 7. Yeah, so a long way back. And I'm a huge car geek. I've kind of grown up in that house and watched the cars being prepped at the back. When they used to have a workshop right attached to the house. So yeah, good times in Chennai. Happy to be here now.
And Chennai really is the hotbed of racing. So did you manage to, in a controlled environment, get on the racetrack on Coimbatore and Chennai?
So actually, Vicky uncle told me, he put me in a race car and he said, go ahead, drive, I'm going to time you. But I just couldn't never convince my parents to let me go racing. So, yeah. Why not write a racing movie, man?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Oh, that's what my next is.
and really, in that sense, it's a small world because, his brother is married to your producer's daughter.
Yeah,
Roddy's daughter.
Exactly. That happened just around the same time as these discussions happened. And then it's amazing. And I've just realized, I feel like the world is getting smaller and smaller every day. It's like everybody watches everything. Whoever you meet seems to know films. And yeah, it's just amazing how that works.
So the cup thing, childhood prodigy at it. When did you first do the cup thing?
I learned
Last year
it.
when she was 12.
Well played, Dulquer. Well played.
I learned it during one of my summer vacations in college. I thought it was very interesting, and I wanted to learn it. I wanted to pick up that rhythm, and so I watched some YouTube tutorials and I learned how to do it, and I tried to sing a song or two, and then one day in 2016
there are YouTube tutorials on how to do that with the cup.
do that rhythm. Yes.
Dude, I'm really living under a rock. That's quite cool.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of things people learn from YouTube.
Yeah. So I took it from the internet and then I gave it back to the internet.
And then it gave back to you.
And Vinay Joshi, who's doing the shooting here, is Marathi Manus. He tells me Sal Turu Turu
Sal Turu Turu, yes.
is, now world famous.
It's a classic song.
And
yes.
and you also did an English version of it, which is what is the English version of it?
So the first video actually that I put out on YouTube is a song called "Can't Take My Eyes Off You." So that's what I first played on the cups, and I put it up on YouTube just for fun. But the video that actually took off was the Heat Sal Turu Turu, and I think somebody on that video has commented saying do something in Marathi, and then I put that into use much later, when I actually decided to make this video. But I didn't mean to make a production out of it. I just wanted to have some fun with it.
And you're now doing TED Talks with it. Have you checked that out? There's a TED Talk of her doing that. She starts a TED Talk with it.
Yeah, no, I know of it. I haven't seen
Damn
it.
cool, damn cool.
No, she gives a
Aakash
full-on
is what my
motivational talk. And,
No, I know.
You're
It's
just
just
like, what are you
I
doing
get
with your life?
I get intimidated by TED Talks. It's just that, like, you know, like,
TEDx,
they'll
and
tell
it's
me that
not-
I've been living my life wrong. So I just I'm really scared.
No, but at her age,
So-
giving a TED talk, I was like, what have I been doing all my life? And she says, the plan is to not have a plan, and she does these little motivational things. It's great.
Yeah, it's quite cool. So, what did you see of Dulquer's and what did you see of Mithila's that you decided to go with them? I mean, did you see?
For Mithila is nothing.
I've known Mithila from the time she was doing Thespo.
Correct,
So
yeah.
I mean, she
Which
was
is actually going to be one of my
yeah.
Kwasa Q questions
yeah,
for
yeah,
her.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I know her because of Kwasar, and so I had known her since then. And I was aware of all the work that she was doing. I was aware that she was getting really popular online. And then at one of the Writers' Block festivals, we did a rehearsed reading in which she and I actually acted together, and I directed it as well. So I knew her from there, and I'm fully aware of all the wonderful work she's doing online, but I haven't actually seen any of it. So that's I've been confessing this quite often now. But Dulquer, I had seen a film of his, a Malayalam film of his called Charlie, which is an absolutely outstanding film, and the character he's played is quite unlike, I think, any character that we've seen. But it was also very unlike the character that I needed for Karwaan. So when his name was suggested to me, I said, I want to see a few more of his films. So I watched Ustad Hotel and OK Kanmani. And I realized immediately that there's some tremendous range that he has. And then we met him, and then I kind of fell in love with the guy. So that kind of sealed the deal.
So, geeky guy versus cool guy, what's easier to do?
Um,
Cool guy, you don't have to do. You're a cool guy. I mean, you
Actually,
can just walk on.
I went through that major geeky guy phase. I wear prescription glasses.
Oh, you
So,
do? Okay.
Yeah, so definitely most of my high school was geeky guy. So that's also familiar. I think cool guy is what I want to be inside, and then I'm kind of getting that chance now that I've gone to movies.
But who does your styling for you? I mean, off the films, man. Because the films, obviously, you have a stylist in the films.
Right.
Because, you wherever you go, even now, you're wearing some cool threads.
There's always wonderful stylists helping me out, and because it's physically impossible for us to go and pick out this many outfits for this many promotional events. But I mean, I don't know. I like clothes. I think when I was younger, I used to do a lot of stuff for my dad. So if we travel, or even when I was in college, I'd bring back things for him because in Malayalam there was no, or even not just in Malayalam, I don't think there was ever a stylist culture earlier on. So definitely when he always had to do his own thing, and so when we travel abroad, we always had to find stuff for him and pick out his clothes. So I think that kind of helped. I've always kept an eye out for clothes and style.
So when you're just picking stuff off the shelf, what is it? Is it jackets? Is it shoes? Are you
I
a
think
shoe person?
It varies, right? It varies. I mean, definitely.
Like Diljit Dosanjh tells me that it's got to be shoes, because you know what I mean. So everybody has that one thing that they just reach out for. You know what I mean?
I feel like shoes have really taken off now. I think it's allowed now. It's okay for boys to also be equally geeky about shoes. So sneakers have become all the rage, and I hear they go for like huge amounts of money, and there's consultants who will consult you as to what sneakers to buy and invest in. There are sneakers that don't see the light of day; they're just kept in glass boxes. So I don't know. It's a changing world. You better just stay relevant. I suppose.
Yeah, well put. So this relationship that your character has with Dulquer's character, it's really interesting, because at one point you feel that there's a father-daughter relationship playing out, and
That's
then
kind
all of a
what's
sudden,
real life.
I know this with a 12-year-old jokes and things.
I've just had a baby girl, and I'm kind of like when she's 16 or 17. How old are you? 14? They're gonna probably end up like this. I'm trying to find like traits. And, yeah.
And then sometimes I see that relationship and I go, okay, they're friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for a moment, there's another character that feels there's some romance happening, which
Yeah.
is Kriti's.
Yeah.
So, what really is that relationship?
I think as Tanya, I'm quite oblivious to that. For me, it's just like this one new guy that I've met. I don't think she's thinking of friendship. Like, I don't think she's labeling it anything, which is what it is for me as well for an audience, as an audience.
But do you like, Tanya, for example, you can not like a person but still play them, right? So,
I like her. I think I think I like her more because she's nothing like what I am. she's very different from me. In fact, yesterday a few people watched the film, came up to me, a couple of my friends, and said, "Oh, you called Avinash old school, and it's so ironic that you're calling him old school because I am very old school."
Wow. So you're not cool, unapologetic, and you're not like you're not the don't judge me kinds.
She's not the feisty kind.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That is a casting coup. You're saying Dulquer.
But I like their dynamic.
Yeah.
I like the fact
Yeah,
that Avinash is
I enjoy that.
way older than his years because of whatever his life has turned out to be. And I love that Tanya being young and vivacious is just kind of showing him perspective. And I think that he kind of comments about that, right?
Yeah, he does. He does.
When I read the script for the first time, I thought they were really interesting dynamic, and I love those scenes of them from checking into that lodge to him talking about her to
and the chemist.
Yeah, but I also think, I like the fact that she's not trying to prove a point. She's just
Yeah.
like, what are you?
She's
Like,
just whatever.
she's just whatever.
She says, "This is me. What you see."
Yeah.
So did you write Shaukat the way he played it? Because you're talking about a master craftsman. So he can take a script and just make it something else.
Well, I
and
mean-
for the good.
No, but to be quite honest, about 80% of Shaukat is what was written. And there's another master craftsman called Hussain Dalal who did our dialogues. And he's just an inappropriate guy. And he kind of got my inappropriate
like I said,
blessings.
God saying that.
I think all the inappropriate powers of the world met, and I told him that I just want him to be this guy who just is so off. And the thing is, it's a fine line because he's also kind of making jokes about he's saying things that are kind of orthodox Muslim, and like he's saying that she's showing her legs and stuff like that. So it's a fine line, but it's also
Yeah, he's chauvinistic, but he's adorable.
but that's the thing. I quite honestly think that is what Irfan sir brought in.
Yeah,
The
but
fact
you
that
know he's an asshole, but he's just an adorable guy.
Because he never lets you feel negatively about him. He makes. I think that's his mastercraft, where he's managed to be an endearing guy despite being, strange. So, but I mean, I'd say about 20% was improvisation.
Wow.
Because he kind of really got into the skin of the character, and he built this little dialect, and so I think but he said yes to the film because of the way that Shaukat was written. So I think that somewhere he stayed quite honest to that.
Lovely. Well, this is going to be my opening question to you, but damn, my friend Rajiv Masand got there before me because he got an interview with you before me, which is basically because it's just the fact that you've done 25 Malayalam films, you've done Tamil, Telugu, and there's introducing Dulquer Salmaan. So, but the radio audiences haven't heard that answer, so you've got to give it to us. Yeah.
So, I get this asked a lot, and some people seem to take offense to the fact that I'm being introduced. But I don't think I'm being introduced to cinema or being introduced to Hindi cinema. I feel like I'm being introduced to a different set of audiences who've not seen my work or might not have seen my work. I mean, I think you can't just take that for granted that everybody knows who this particular actor is, because we are a large country, we are a large population, we are very diverse, and Hindi cinema reaches out to a much wider audience, and it's a bit premature to assume that everybody knows me because I'm already an established actor. So I think it's a compliment. I think it's a privilege to be introduced, and I like reading that.
And no South Indian accent at all. And even if you were to have one, I'm thinking it's okay because he lives in Bangalore, right?
Right.
And most North Indian friends of mine who move to Bangalore get that slight South Indian.
Just that twang, yeah.
What are you doing,
Too.
macha?
Yeah.
But you didn't have that. So,
Right.
what was Hindi the third language? Or,
Hindi was my second language.
Second language. Wow.
But,
wow.
I don't know. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean anything because Karwaan speaks amazing Hindi. He hated Hindi in school. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I guess sometimes you have a knack for languages, and I'm always telling them, I'm like, an accent is something only everybody else hears. The guy speaking it can't hear it. So I'm like, if there is anything, do let me know. But I guess there's some kind of match between what I'm hearing and what I'm saying.
So, Girl in the City Girl. Do you still get that? I mean, that's the one that really catapulted you to
That's true.
stardom.
I mean,
yeah?
more than Girl in the City Girl, it's Meera that stuck. Because also, I think it also happened because of the kind of marketing that they did for it, because Meera had her own identity on social media. So, in fact, during the first season, I was being addressed as Meera everywhere. Like, I remember being at a metro station in Andheri, and I was like, somebody just said Meera, and I have now like started invariably responding to like these names. So yeah.
But in that aspect, Little Things was a lot different because that was like a was a couple thing, right?
Yes.
Girl in the City was being girly.
Yes.
So what did you enjoy more? Or did you enjoy the Chukyagiri stuff more?
I enjoyed Little Things a lot more. I think also because I was involved in like since it was being thought about and since the concept came about, since we started thinking about making it a series, I was part of the whole process of building it up. So I think I enjoyed the making of it a lot more. Also, these are people I started working with. So it was quite fun, and I enjoy what Dhruv writes.
Brother, why is this a road trip set in South India? It could have been a north road trip up into Shimla and the mountains or something like that. I'm just very curious to know. Yeah.
So, a couple of reasons. One is this is actually a route I've done. This is a route I've done a couple of times.
Like you've done this Ooty, Bangalore route?
Yeah, I've done this thanks to theatre and thanks to other work. I've done it, and so it was a route I really liked, and I also kind of have a really soft spot for Kerala. Having said that, I mean, I also wrote Tripling, which kind of went from Bombay to Rajasthan to Manali, and I just feel like the north has really been exposed too much. So it all kind of fell together in that sense, and I really wanted to kind of I didn't feel that Kerala had been showcased in its like true beauty in Hindi cinema. I mean, of course, Chef shot there and came out before us, but the thing is that I really want to do that, and I think Ronnie saw the sense in that and felt that maybe we should give them a unique kind of geography as well. I know that when we told Dulquer that this is the route we are doing, there wasn't anything different in it for him. So,
That's not new.
so I think he was expecting mountains or Ladakh or Goa at
Yeah,
worst.
none of my films have taken me to those places.
But I mean, you did a northeast road trip, right?
And even then, I want to go to the mountains. I said, why don't we go to the mountains? And my director said,
Mountains are the mountains.
That's been done
yeah.
before, and everybody's seen it.
And Ooty technically is not mountains.
Yeah, but I think when he heard the narration, he was like, "Oh, it starts with like Gangotri and all. I'm gonna go to the Himachal." And I was like,
But actually, that's just dad and Binaji.
This is dad in the Himachal. This is the Himalayas. So, yeah. So.
And Kochi was like right outside my house.
Yeah, I can
First day, I could walk to set.
Wow.
It was like that.
That is some trivia there. I just love the music. I mean, I've already thrown Saase in my playlist. I've thrown Artquake, which is just the last time I heard her quirky lyrics like that was Emotional Atyachar from, Amit Trivedi's
Yeah.
back in,
Dave D.
what is that?
Dave
Dave
D.
D, man. What a, so, it was reminiscent of that. Of course, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
And there's Pratik Kuhad,
Yeah.
and Papon. So I'm thinking this is like really the indie musicians. They're not mainstream Hindi film musicians. Man.
I'll be honest. I mean, it was a hard sell, but it was something that I really wanted. I love Pratik, and I told him I wanted his songs to be the voice of Avinash, and I wanted it as bookends. I wanted to begin the film with Pratik and end the film with Pratik. I was very clear about that right at the beginning, and he read the script, and that's why he's written songs that I just feel like belong to the script completely. I'm also a very big fan of the kind of work that Mad Boy Mink are doing, which is Imad's. I just feel there's this really nice jazz funk.
They texted me. There's a new album out, or
There's a new
EP.
album, EP. The song Like Us doing really well as well. But so I really wanted them, and so I think it's unconventional choices, and it's not necessary. It wasn't the easiest to kind of, but we had to balance it out. So I think Papon coming on board helped, and Arijit doing a song really helped, and we've got a rapper called Slow Cheetah who's done a couple of tracks, and so I think that it really helps to have a producer like Ronnie, who's kind of open, and says that okay, let's kind of not necessarily fall for commercial tropes, but do stuff that's right for the film. And for me, one of the biggest victories of Karwaan has been that the album is doing really well, and people are really liking the music. We get a lot of comments about the music. For me, that's a pretty big triumph. I mean, I think indie is bloody cool. So
would this make it on your regular playlist? I mean, what kind of music do you listen to otherwise? Are you a hip hop kind of person, pop kind of person?
Definitely a lot of hip hop when I was in college. So I like that phase. So that late 90s, early 2000s. But I feel like, especially on road trips and stuff, you can't just keep listening to the same kind of music all the time. So I love how varied this album is. And generally, like, it's just very chill and very, it's almost like if you want to sort of unwind, I think this is such a great album. So I would definitely listen to it while I'm driving or if I'm just chilling at home. I love it.
So when I was a kid, I had an aunt in Alwai.
Alua.
And I was introduced to CID Oru Diary Kurupu.
CBA.
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 And then of course I saw Talapati.
Right.
So I mean, it's astounding the range that your dad has. What's your favorite Mammootty sir film?
It is over 350. It's really difficult to pick.
What would make it in your top 3, your top 4?
350, huh?
Yeah, I think pushing 400 maybe.
400 films, wow.
Yeah, because I mean, especially the first 4 or 5 years, or first 10 years, I think there was years when there's 30 films a year, 32 films a year.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy numbers.
And he's still doing about
Because
7
those
or
days,
8.
it's not like they were playing lead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Govinda, keeps saying that he used to just run from one set to another.
No,
It's
it's
just
like
move.
3 shifts a day is like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've heard a story where apparently he was shooting. He came back from an all-night shoot somewhere, and he came to another film shoot. So one of his co-stars, actress, told me, and he is supposed to lean on top of the gate at the entrance of the house, and the camera's inside the house. So the director's going on calling action and waiting for him to come, and he didn't. He stood there and fell asleep. And the director got so upset, he thought he wasn't paying attention or something, and he called back up and left. But for no fault of it, I mean, it's just, I think, exhaustion. But yeah, they work like that. So it's, but definitely from the 80s, there's a film called Taniya Vartanam, which is a film that my mom and sister refused to watch because it's heartbreaking. It's a lovely film. It's an amazing performance. It's very close to, I think, most Malayali film viewers. I've mentioned Amaram in other interviews. Amaram is where he plays this fisherman, and he gets that dialect really right. He's got major conflicts in the film, very performance oriented. What else? There's a film called Kariyala Kaatuvole, which is by the great Padmarajan, who's directed it. Amazing cast. There's Mohanlal sir, my dad, Rahman, and it's this whodunit mystery, and it's amazing how the film kind of starts, and you will never guess who the killer is, and then you kind of, if you rewind back at the end of the film in your head, you'll figure it out. And it's amazing.
Wow. So does he have a favorite Dulquer film, or does he tell you?
No, I'm not.
Is he very
The
expressive?
thing with my dad is if you start asking him questions like that, whether about yourself or him, he'll just look at you and be like, "What, are you interviewing me?" So I think he doesn't. He's very clear that none of this affects me or goes to my head. So I don't think he ever will really outwardly compliment me or something. But I think he says little things to my mother, who then sometimes shares it with me.
You must have gone for a screening with him and seen him react. So is there a particular...
Usually what happens, we watch the films at home. And so I kind of sit in front of them, and it's like, this right behind me, and I can hear the reactions, and that's the most I get. He doesn't really tell me in words, but if I hear like a laugh or an accidental clap or something, so then it's like a win for me. But I think I'm sure I'm sure he liked Charlie, because I think in films when I play out of my comfort zone, he really appreciates it, because as an actor he's somebody who's done numerous like languages and dialects and accents and stuff like that. So me being born and raised in Chennai, if I do a very local sort of slang and character and body language, like when I did a Karwaan, I played somebody from Kochi, Matanjeri in Kochi. I think those things he appreciates. I think those are things that surprise him, because he didn't think somebody being city bred like me could do that. Or even if I think when he saw me speak Hindi in an interview, he was quite shocked. He said, I never knew you could speak Hindi like that.
So how's Mr. Ekavarius on the set? Is he like chilled? Is he a little hyper?
Very chill.
Very chilled?
Very, very chill.
How many retakes happen? Do they happen at all?
No, they happen.
I mean, these things you normally say behind his back, but we have no choice.
No, we are
issues.
very open with him. I don't think we have anything.
Thanks.
Even if you have to say anything against him, he'll still say it in front of him. But we really love him. In fact, I've been saying this, that he is the captain of the ship, and he truly is, because he's the director of the film, and he really kept the atmosphere on set fun, and yet managed to get all the work done that was scheduled.
He's also like the DJ. He's also like the stand-up comic.
Yeah.
But all of that. But I think for him the struggle was there. I think to kind of balance that out and make sure work happens.
And get some respect.
And make sure that
He struggles with that,
we
because
take him seriously.
he really he asked us finally on the last day. He said
Yeah,
it
my
was
call
on the
sheet-
call
my
sheet.
call sheet
"Okay,
said,
last
respect
day
your
hai,
director."
Just like the director.
So the brother gets a porn-watching boss from hell role.
Yeah.
Is he complaining? And mom had a walk-on part, right?
Mom made that part for herself.
So everybody comes to compliment
yeah.
them.
And was Dilshad in it too?
Dilshad was in it.
Ah.
Dilshad,
Yeah.
So, yeah, family conspiracy, my friend.
Dilshad was strategically placed. So there was this whole crowd, and Dilshad was strategically placed talking to Dulquer. I said, Dulquer katega nahi. So, so we'll have to give her that. And yeah, mom kind of added that walk and kind of felt like, not only will I talk to Dulquer, I have a moment with Irfan. So mom kind of she manipulated her way into like the film quite well.
So it's a good luck charm, man. I mean, all the Khuranas together.
I
Yeah.
feel that I'm not acting with the whole family.
Yeah, see, exactly. So dad played a dad from hell, sort of, but which he isn't, you know that. Adar actually, I think, has now mastered the art of playing a jerk, and I don't want to say how that reflects on his personality in life.
Did we
Maybe
keep
he's just a
that-
fab
that-
actor. I
that-
don't know. So.
Did we keep that scene where he's screaming at that one dude?
Yeah, he's there.
that-
That's the big thing. Yeah,
That
he's
was
like,
the
problem fixed. Yeah, he's yelling at one guy. So yeah. So
He was going to town with it. Adar really enjoys
In the
playing.
cabin.
yeah. So yeah, Adar was happy to do it. I don't know if he got paid, but he kept the suits. So yeah.
Yeah, the other question people are going to ask you is that, because the whole family is in it, does everybody get paid or just you get paid for?
I think I don't even did I get I got paid. I got paid. I think dad got paid. Yeah, no, Dilshad and
Justifiably,
Adar.
man.
Dilshad, Adar and mom just got love. I mean, we do theatre, we're used to that. So yeah.
Also, Adar was also an
Adar was an
AD
assistant on the film.
Oh, he was, okay.
Yeah. In fact, he also developed into quite a fine assistant. I mean, he
So
assisted
Adar is an expert at
background action.
Making up
background,
his stories.
for every single
before.
extra on set or background action, he comes up with little mini stories.
Yeah, and because you also worked with Q, these guys are crazy about things like test cricket. Like 3 hours before
Not
a
me,
test match.
Kwasar,
Not you.
Kwasar,
I mean,
Kwasar has been
no,
at
even
cricket.
Adar. Come on.
Adar was in Russia for the World Cup. So.
No, we played cricket on set.
Yeah, you did.
I mean,
yeah.
they played cricket
That was
on
like,
set. Yeah.
but you were unaffected by all this
Yeah,
cricket mania.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not even T20 or 1 day cricket, it's a
Okay, there was
5-day
an
cricket.
insane amount of girls on the set.
Where?
Nice.
Where?
Wow.
Dude, I work in movies, man. There's not this many women in the direction
On us,
department.
What?
on
Really?
us.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
That's because everybody thinks he's
He
a
surrounds
safe guy.
himself with, like,
He's
women.
safe, isn't it?
But I
didn't
agree.
notice
And
also.
pretty
Maybe I don't
I
even
agree,
like, yeah, so.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Akash likes to
You agree with that?
Yes.
Everybody thinks that
Absolutely.
Akash is a safe guy.
There were a lot of pretty
Yeah,
girls on our
they all,
set.
they all kind of like are drawn.
He's like the teddy bear who. you
Yeah,
know.
like your wife, your mum.
Yeah, okay.
So, another thing about this film is that these are 3 unfortunate relationships that these 3 have had with their respective fathers,
Yes,
which I thought was a very interesting aspect as far as that is concerned. Which brings me to the logical question. Your relationship with your father, is it a bit of fear, a bit of respect, or are you like back-thumping buddies?
So definitely respect all along. That doesn't change. But fear when I was younger. Also because he was working like crazy. So as a kid, he would come in the middle of the night, come and see us and then leave before we kind of wake up. And he was also like a towering personality. He's like, so I think 4-year-old me would is big man.
And he's
big,
the original voice, man.
yeah, big voice. And he enters and like all the elements and molecules in the room kind of like shift. And that's the dynamic with every member of the family or people visiting. But I think as I grew older, it just changed. And now that I'm married and I'm working and we have work in common, so I feel like now we're just like buddies. We're just like 2 guys who are in the same business or same line of work, and we have our wives and kids, whatever. So it's a lot of similar sort of discussions and similar highs and lows, I think. So that's a great that's the best thing we share. It's not, we don't discuss what movie to do next, but we discuss, hey man, how's your work day? And if I say, yeah, it was really hectic today and I had a really emotional scene, I'm drained, and I know he gets it because we do the same thing.
And he obviously loves his granddaughter more than he loves his son, which is your
And his grandsons for that matter.
Yeah, your
He's on all
nephews.
fours and like crawling with her and makes faces and baby sounds, and you see, you wouldn't imagine him doing that.
Black comedies you like. I mean, Dead Bodies have always been great fodder for comedies. So I remember watching Jaane Bhi Do Yaro again and again and again just for the dead body scene. I mean, are you a fan of that particular genre? I mean,
So, the thing is, it's really weird. Jaane Bhi Do Yaro has come up so many times. I mean, kind of people ask if there was any kind of relation. And in a way, I don't feel there is, because, I mean, there was such hilarity that came out of that dead body in Jaane Bhi Do Yaro. That whole climax was centered around Satish Shah's finest performance over there. Like, just... but in this, of course, I mean, it starts with this bizarre situation, but it kind of just becomes a part of the atmosphere. I mean, there's no real humor around the corpse itself, quite honestly, after we've kind of set it up. But as in, I kind of like comedy that comes out of places that are actually squirm-worthy and uncomfortable. I think there's that fine line. And I mean, when you see the film, the moment in the trailer, where that woman, that call center woman calls up and says, hey, your dad is dead. And like,
Yeah, man.
so I kind of saw that in those 30 seconds, people went from like to a giggle. They kind of realized that this is he's stuck in a hard place, but it's so bizarre that it's kind of funny. You feel bad laughing, but you do. Yeah. And I think that kind of sets the tone for the film, quite honestly, as it goes along. And therefore,
I love the fact that there are these oddball characters. I mean, the guy who is in the
cargo
package, the
yeah,
cargo,
So,
Mr. Nambiar, all these.
they're all
full kudos to you.
Weirdos, all weirdos. Who say like राशन पानी खरीदने से पहले देखते हो, bag check करते हो कि नहीं? So.
Okay, you did business management.
Yes.
So this is at Purdue.
Yeah.
My oh my. So, and did you also work? Are you using it? I mean, are you an entrepreneur now? You can always be.
I do a lot of investing. So I do a lot of angel investing and seed funding and stuff.
Are you keeping an eye on all of them? I mean, in the sense, do you have time to do that?
A lot of my friends are in this line. So I actively do this with one particular friend of mine. And we have a small fund that invests in these things. But the thing is, I went to a school which is kind of filled with kids from business families. So initially, I just kind of did what everybody else was doing. What are you going to do? I'm going to go, to England and study business, or America and study business. I said, okay, I guess I'll do the same. Because my interests were like cars, and I wanted to do like automotive design, but I didn't know how to go about it, or I didn't see anybody else doing it. So whenever I meet kids today who are just doing the most interesting sort of careers, or even choosing the most interesting courses in college, I'm just so jealous. I'm like, I wish at that time, I had the courage or sort of conviction to go in these directions. And I love to encourage youngsters to kind of do that now. But it was inevitable, I think, that exposure. You couldn't be in my school and socialize in the 11th and 12th without kind of having read Hindu Business Line. Somewhere along the way, like some discussions would come up. And after a point, I just felt stupid, so I would start reading up on this. But I did enjoy my courses in college. Funnily enough, I picked marketing because I thought there's some amount of performance involved where you have to kind of sell yourself or sell a product. So I guess somewhere deep down I was a little curious if I can kind of perform in front of people. My communications class in college, which is just a speech class, I had to take 3 times because I was so terrible. I was extremely shy, extremely nervous, and could never remember my lines. I think first I got a C, the second time I got a C again, and finally I got a B or something.
So, do your girlfriends turn around and say, "Oh, you're working with Dulquer"?
Oh my God, so many. For the screening, I had some really odd requests where I was told, "Oh, can I just come so I can see him at a distance?" And please tell
You
him.
should start charging,
Yeah, I think
You should make some money.
I
Really,
think so.
yeah. Time to put on your business hat.
Absolutely.
Okay, handshake with Dulquer, maybe hug.
I have a friend who's told her husband, if I leave you ever, then it'll be for Mithila Palkar and Dulquer Salmaan. So yeah.
Good guy.
Crazy friends, yeah.
And the fact that Kriti agreed to do this part, I mean, you see Dulquer and Kriti in one frame, and you're thinking, oh my God, these guys should fall in love again, But I think you wanted that, But then it didn't happen because the husband is such a sweet guy.
So yeah, I mean, actually, that was the trickiest casting, the husband. Yeah. It had to be. I mean, of course, like Kriti is lovely, and I think their chemistry and that scene is just beautiful. I think it's one of my favorite. But what I love more than the scene between Dulquer and Kriti is the last scene between the husband and Kriti. Yeah. Which I think for me is, and we got some feedback saying, why are you staying on that? Because they're subsidiary characters. And I said, no, but that is the essence of that relationship.
Very well written.
But that casting was a tricky one because he's got to be
Secure.
normal enough, or maybe not attractive. There was a sense of him clearly being Dulquer clearly being the better option, Like, drop everything and go with this guy. Because, when he sits by you at night and takes off his glasses, coffee freezes and all of that. But Sameer, who's actually a director of also Ye Meri Family, which is a very successful TVF show right now.
In which you play the lead part, and you have Mona Singh as your wife. How is that going on?
Well, the show's done.
Not complaining, brother. Not complaining.
It's
Yeah?
done and
Hot
dusted,
wife on screen.
So yeah, actually, I think Sameer kind of got that perfectly. He got that everyman thing down perfectly, and also he's just one of the nicest guys I know. So I think that comes out in that scene really well. That's a particularly personal favorite portion of the film of mine. So.
And you guys will agree that even better than your own casting, Mithila and Dulquer, the Shehnai wala.
I think he was bad.
It was so cool. Where did you find that guy,
That
man?
is
Also,
completely.
like off camera, also he was really entertaining.
I saw him hanging around at the
Yeah.
launch, and I went and took a picture with him. But
He's a
I think he
crazy
has the
guy.
most fans.
He's a crazy guy. We actually found him. Our casting directors found him. He's also got this brilliant cameo in Bajrangi Bhaijaan.
I don't.
There's a scene. You've seen Bajrangi Bhaijaan.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a scene where Nawaz and all pretend that this is our house, and an old man comes out and says, "Who the hell are you?" And he says, "This is my father, and he's not talking to me because he's upset with me."
Yeah.
That old man is Habib Azmi, yeah, and he's so fabulous in that part. But yeah, he's just
I
amazing.
feel like he can run a marathon.
He's amazing. He's amazing. Like.
Okay, last few questions before we wrap, because Aditi has just left the building saying I have to wrap. So, okay, you're going to allow me some non-Karwaan questions. We have a show called Marriage Made in India. What's the best part about being married, Dulquer?
Companionship.
The most beautiful moment of my marriage would be? Akarsh.
Every single time that Dilshad, my wife, is by my side when I'm achieving something.
Lovely. What makes Indian marriages different from marriages around the world? Dulquer?
I think we see it as an Indian institution. I think it's part of our culture. So we all go into it giving it our everything and wanting to make it work no matter what.
And the most beautiful moment of your marriage would be?
I think probably pre-marriage when Anumal actually agreed to give me a chance.
Oh, sweet. How do you celebrate life? Mithila?
I laugh a lot.
That's good. Is there a festival that's celebrated in the Palkar family, and how do you celebrate it?
We celebrate most of the Indian festivals like hugely, but the most we are most excited about Diwali because everybody's lighting up the house and making lots of yummy food, and that's one festival that we look forward to a lot.
We're heading into the Sera, Diwali, Navratri, the festival season. What's a festival that's celebrated in the Khurana household, and how do you do it?
We are not huge on festivals like that. I think Christmas, because Dilshad makes some great Christmas food.
Bakery stuff.
What about you?
Eid, for sure.
Yeah, sevaiya and biryani in the works.
Biryani, and I think it's very upbeat. There's a sort of sense of joy that everybody has, and it's this glow that everybody has. It's not a very outwardly celebratory thing that we have. There's no customary things that we do. We just get up in the morning, go for namaz, either to the Eidgah, to the mosque. Everybody wears new clothes. We come back, and it's usually after Ramzan of 30 days of fasting. It's the first breakfast you have after a month. So then everybody really enjoys that breakfast. Usually it's quite a heavy breakfast, so then you kind of nap or something. But a lot of the times, my uncles and all my family members visit us, and there's biryani, which is just incredible. And it's like, I'm sure for my mum, getting it right is such a big thing because it's biryani for so long and stuff. But the general, what I love most about it is just this little inexplicable sort of happiness that's just there on that day.
Okay, this is great news for you. Radio 1 listeners were asked to poll ladies under 30 who are youth stars. Yeah, and the only two people who made it in the acting department this year were Tapsi Pannu and your good self. So what are some of the changes you'd like to see in current India in order to build a young and powerful India?
Wow.
What are the changes you'd like to see? Just some of them. Because youth power is it, right? We're the youngest nation in the world now.
I think, it's happening, the kind of voice that we are getting in terms of, I wouldn't direct it to a certain, like, not say social media, but I think a lot of the youth is more aware now because of the kind of exposure that we're getting, and I think the kind of something that I was hoping for is on its way. Like, it is happening. That a lot of the youth is part of everything, like politics or the film industry or anything that is influential or will influence.
What is the biggest responsibility of being an actress? What is your biggest responsibility if you think of it? Sorry.
To bring a smile to people's faces.
Great. You started working very early. So does that mean that, your focus was always acting, or did you have a multitude of things
Actually,
to choose from, like Dulquer and...
No, I always wanted to act.
Wow.
I always wanted to act. I just didn't have a direction to, like, go about it. So then I was open to every opportunity that came my way, that gave me an opportunity to be an actor.
Lovely. Thank you. And I hope everybody in this country and this world enjoys Karwaan as much as I did. It becomes a monster hit. This was so much fun. Thank you. Cheers. Dulquer. Thank you. Mithila. Thank you, Akarsh.